Carlos Nelson with the Kansas City Business Association, and tonight we have our newest member. Who do we have here?
Nadine Ferris.
Nadine, tell our audience a little bit about yourself and what your company does, and run it down.
My name is Nadine Ferris, and I'm the Executive Director of Well for Housing, and we specialize in finding affordable housing for low-income families in Kansas City.
Tell our audience a little bit about the criteria that one would have to meet to qualify for your program, and what type of individuals do you have, the range?
We get people from all walks of life, people that come in with school loan debts, divorced, working 2 jobs and just following hard times. You name it, we get them. Homeless people, and what they do, there's no criteria. We turn no one away. People come in and make an appointment. We interview them, and then we kind of, see how we can best, what's the best place to send them so they can get housed.
What kind of relationship does your organization have with, let me retrospect, how long have your organization been in existence?
We've been up and running since 2013.
2013, that's quite a bit of time. Tell our audience a little bit about the realtors that you deal with in order to be able to place these individuals. What's that like?
Well, we've been fortunate to build relationships with a lot of property owners.
Yeah.
And my uncle is the co-founder of Well Kayem Durant, and he has 25 years of specializing in housing, low-income families. And so what that does is that gave us a great platform to follow in the housing.
He had a definite business plan, and when I say business plan, not necessarily written down, but that experience on what was needed.
No, he actually did it. He worked for Swarth Parkway Health Center for 15 years, and so he had all this experience, and then he had all these collaborators and all these contacts.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we started our nonprofit, we were able to just build off of that, and that's what makes our nonprofit so unique, because we can just send people straight to the source. They're not waiting on a 2-year, 3-year waiting list to get housed.
All right, in the middle of the interview, want to again tell our audience how they can contact you if they have those needs, housing needs.
You can contact us by going on our website at www.wellkc.org, or you may contact us at housing@wellkc.org.
Moving forward, what would you consider a price range that you would say affordable? What constitutes affordable housing in your mind and in the industry? The rents rate ranging from top to bottom.
Well, that's kind of a catch-22,
Right.
A question. But I will tell you that affordable housing is, they go by your income. Like if we house...
Your program goes by the income, all right.
Yes, they go by your income, and like the senior citizen buildings, and then you have a lot of property owners that, that goes by your income. If you're a student, or if you're on SSI or whatever, then we get people that come in with vouchers, where they're not paying any rent,
Mm-hmm.
the government's paying their rent, or Section 8, they may qualify,
You work with Section 8?
Oh, we work with Section 8 and Housing Authority.
All right. Could you tell our audience specifically as it relates to what you're doing with youth in that way? Because I work with the court system on some different things, and they have the teenagers that with the court, and they look for housing also. Do you do anything in that respect?
Yes, we do. And to back up, we've housed over 400 individuals and families since 2013. And we're finding that we're getting these younger generations that are coming in homeless. Many of them have school loan debts. Some are still going to school. Many working 2 jobs. And these are some of the people that we're really able to house immediately. They don't have any, bad credit.
Bad credit. Well, I'm saying, when going on to that, from my perspective, a lot of that is engineered. I always go back to media because I'm in it. It goes back from the time they come out of high school. First of all, we've been programmed, and we want to have all these material things, and we don't really understand credit to a degree. And we go get our first credit card, you on 0 then, and we have these ambitions. Oh, I want to buy the Nike, I want to buy this, I want to buy that, and then we don't see how we're going to pay for it, and then you're in a hole almost from the rest of your life. And I blame some of it on us, but with our education system being the way it is, and the parenting, as you say, you are finding that you're serving a younger population, and that population really don't have a whole lot of life experience. And the price, when I was saying what is affordable housing, the price of the cost of living is going up every day. The other question I might ask you, in the news as of late, Apple and a lot of the larger companies in Tech Valley are pledging billions of dollars on creating some new housing, because the housing situation here in Kansas City is one thing, but housing around the nation and in San Francisco and Los Angeles and those places is very difficult. When I asked you about what do you consider affordable housing, they're up like at $3,000 a month for rent, $2,500, and that's barely a 2-bedroom. So
yeah, well, a 1-bedroom is going to run you anywhere from $620, on up, depending on your zip code, the area that you live in. But it can, it's just hard to kind of gauge. But you have a lot of people migrating to Kansas City because the
cost of living
is different.
I was speaking with someone I was riding with yesterday about Kansas City's been a livable city, but it's really changing. I was like, you couldn't come down any of the streets in New York or LA without having traffic. And Kansas City still, we have our moments, but we're not like some of the big cities, and the more influx of people, the higher everything goes. And affordable housing, do you think we have a sufficient housing stock here in Kansas City?
I don't think that we have enough housing to, for people that are, that live below
the urban core?
Yes, in the urban core. We just, that's my opinion. We don't.
Do you have any opinion on housing as it relates to East of Truce?
I mean, it goes back to the urban core, just the way the housing situation is. Like some housing is not livable, in my opinion.
Right.
So it goes back to the landlords and the property owners. A lot of people own property in Kansas City today that don't live here. But we getting off the subject.
No, that is the subject,
Okay.
Affordable housing. And if you have some solutions also, because it's enough that we have these type of conversations, but where do we lead that to, and what do we need to do to try to have some solutions? And that's what the Business Association is about, really, mobilizing our businesses and talking in one voice, so that when our association speaks, the city, the county, private sector, they have to listen, because we have bona fide members like yourself talking about these problems, and we're not just here to talk about them. We want some action on them. I don't have the time to just talk about something that I don't see no end game.
Yes. Well, with our organization, You know, that's what we do. You know, we're into trying to solve problems and offer solutions, you know, to people. And the way you do that too, like enforce affordable housing, you know, we have to hold these landlords accountable. You know, people that own this property need to keep their property, you know, up to par. And
What do
know,
you
we
think
run
that
into
what do you think that the city can do, or do you know anything that the city can do? Because on another one of our shows, What's Up Kansas City, about 3 years ago, Jim Watts went out in the neighborhoods, and there were houses that were dilapidated and had insects and mice and whatever, and the yards weren't cut, but the city owned the property. And if that was owned by us, it'd be a different story. But we got new administration, and we got some new people in the political game. I'm waiting to see really how that rings out in the wash as it relates to Easter Truce, because again, Carlos Nelson is really only concerned, or main concern is about his community and what we can do to improve our community.
Absolutely, and I totally agree, and that's why I believe the elected officials need to be held accountable, because many times the people, and especially some of the people we serve, they don't have a voice. You know, so we have to be their voice. You know, we have to
That's what I'm talking about.
Stand up for them, and that's what we do well. You know, we try to send them to different resources and, you know, and problem solving, and so these people, so they can remain self-sufficient.
And see, what I'm looking to do, again with the Kansas City Business Association, where our members, because most of our members are really halfway, and some of them are really financial, to find a way that our association can give back to the community, and we're going to be working on that. But in closing, what would you close with or have to say to our audience?
I just like to thank you for having me on, and I don't want to take the full credit for my organization. My uncle Kayem Durant, you know, he's also the co-founder, and we're just doing the best we can. We're small in Kansas City, but we solve a lot of problems. We have a lot of great resources, and we collaborate, and we are a community. We believe that it takes a community to get all our problems.
Make things happen.
To make things happen.
One
Absolutely.
more time, how can they contact you?
You can contact us through our website, which is www.wellkc.org, or via email, housing@wellkc.org.
And as I always do in closing, when you invest in your community, you're really just investing in yourself. Good night.